President Donald Trump has remarked on the shooting massacre of congregants at a Jewish synagogue in Pittsburgh. As he boarded Air Force One on Saturday, "Maybe there would have been nobody killed except for him, frankly," Trump continued. "Isn't it a shame that you have to think of that inside of a temple or inside of a church? But certainly the result would have been far better," he said. The shooting occurred at the Tree of Life Congregation Synagogue in the Squirrel Hill area of Pittsburgh shortly before 10 a.m. on Friday. The suspect, who has been identified as 46-year-old Robert Bowers, is in custody. Share this article. Share asked if he thought all churches and synagogues should have armed guards. Trump responded, "I hate to think of it that way, I will say that. It has been a world with a lot of problems for many years, and you could say frankly for many centuries," he said. "You look at what goes on and certainly you want protection. They didn't have any protection. They had a maniac walk in, and they didn't have any protection, and that is just so sad to see." Trump also said that the U.S. should bring the death penalty into vogue and stiffen up our laws in terms of the death penalty. "When people do this, they should get the death penalty, and they shouldn't have to wait years. Now the lawyers will get involved," Trump said. "It's a terrible thing going on with hate in our country and all over the world," Trump said. Several prominent Jewish celebrities quickly reacted with scorn to Trump's call for armed guards in houses of worship rather than gun control laws. "No one should have to go through airport security to go to pray in a synagogue or church or a mosque. This is not the fault of the synagogue." Ben Stiller wrote on Twitter. The apparent anti-Semitic shooting capped a week of political violence in which 14 pipe bombs were mailed to various elite Democrats. The suspect in the bombings, Cesar Sayoc, was arrested on Friday. The Pittsburgh shooting unfolded around 9:30 a.m. when the gunman burst through the synagogue's doors and opened fire on the congregation on the main floor, where around 40 to 50 people had gathered for a Sabbath service. Witnesses said he shouted, "All Jews must die," while firing on the congregation. A mother who identified herself as Jennifer said that her daughter had been trapped inside the synagogue when the shooting began. "They heard the shots and they all, her friend's mom and dad and son, they just all ran downstairs I guess and barricaded themselves in the basement," she told television reporters. "They kept hearing gunfire and everything else," she said. Jennifer said her daughter had survived and was safe with police at the time of the interview. After killing 3 people on the main floor, the gunman went downstairs, where a second congregation was gathering in the basement, and opened fire there. He murdered 4 people there, then fled upstairs where, on the 3rd floor, he exchanged fire with SWAT teams and injured 3 police officers. A third, smaller group was gathered in the rabbi's office to the side of the main congregation. One man struggled to compose himself as he described racing to the synagogue to check on family members who were inside during the shooting. "My father-in-law was inside. I got married in this place. This is crazy," the witness told reporters at the scene. "This is unbelievable. People have to stop the hate. They have to stop," he said. His father-in-law escaped the synagogue safely. After being injured himself in the crossfire, the gunman surrendered to police. 3 cops were shot exchanging gunfire with the assailant. One was shot in the hand and did not suffer life-threatening injuries. The condition of the other 2 officers is unknown. Saturday is one of the busiest days for the synagogue. As many as 100 people in total had gathered across the three congregations for a Sabbath service and a bris ceremony. There was no security there, with former synagogue leaders describing how it operates an open-door policy for worshippers. On a day-to-day the door is open, you can walk in and out, the synagogue's former CEO told CBS Pittsburgh. Like most religious institutions, we have an open door, he said. He added that security had been a major concern for him in the past, and that he was working with the DHS to improve escape routes and emergency procedures. It was a major concern for us. We were working with the DHS to evaluate exit routes. I just spoke to our maintenance person who was able to get out. We were working with the other synagogues on what to do if this happened, he said. He said of the building's maintenance man, he was shaken. He saw one of our congregants down. He knew he was in the bathroom and he was able to get out of the building. There are 3 different congregations in the building, and all were likely full, according to the synagogue's former president. The area is still on lockdown, with any residents living nearby told to lock their doors and not go outside. Witnesses are still being interviewed by police at the scene. It remains unclear if the gunman, who was wearing a green jacket and blue jeans, has been removed from the building or not. He was crawling and injured before he was arrested. President Trump tweeted that he was aware of the unfolding scenario, writing, "Watching the events unfolding in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Law enforcement on the scene. People in Squirrel Hill area should remain sheltered. Looks like multiple fatalities. Beware of active shooter. God bless all."